Hello to everyone and welcome to The Line. Welcome to Sunday After Dark, where my studio is putting the dark in After Dark. Welcome here. I'm going to be joined by Austin in just a few minutes. He was just hosting on Jimmy Snow on The Line, talking to lovely MAGA folks over there, and he'll be joining us in a few moments or less. So it won't just be me. But I am very excited tonight to be talking to you, to hopefully getting some great calls on the line. If you believe in some sort of God or gods, and if you think that I also should believe in some kind of God or gods, which I do not currently, tonight is the night. I need you to call in, tell me why I should believe what you believe. Turns out we've had some skeptics converting to Christianity of late, so maybe I could be the next one, and maybe you can put that feather in your cap. I would encourage you now, talk to the Holy Spirit, get your prayers out, have God tell you what to tell me, because certainly he must have messages for me, and they're not getting through. I tend not to answer if the number is unknown. I don't call, so if that's how God's trying to get me, then maybe that's true. So I've been having an interesting weekend because let me show you what I got here. I got volume 4 of Gary Habermas's great On the Resurrection series. His magnum opus. It is over 4,000 pages. And hold on. This is hefty material. I don't know if I can lift it all at once. We got volume 1, 2, and 3, which combined is about 17 or 18 pounds. And then we got just a baby volume 4. This one is on theology and practice. So I've been digging in on that this weekend. That's something fun I've been doing. And hopefully, by the end of it, I will be convinced that the resurrection is a true thing that really happened. So far, not so much. The new book, there will be a review eventually on my channel, but the new book so far seems to be assuming that I already think it's true, which is kind of disappointing. I see an Austin, but we'll give him a minute. Again, we're looking for theist calls tonight. If you are a believer in a god or gods, and you have a message from your god or gods that you want to pass along to us, debate us, tell us why we should believe what you believe, that's not a phone, Austin. That's a banana.
This, don't you know, Paul? This is the perfect argument for the existence of God. Look at this. Look how the peel perfectly shapes my hand. Only a designer could have done this. And you see, there's a convenient little tab for me to pull to peel it down. You see that? And then it fits right in my throat like a dick, you know?
Well, I was going to say, I don't know what kind of streaming software you have installed over there and what kind of OF accounts you may or may not have. I'm not sure. But it seemed like your phone, your picture was deliberately blurring out that banana. You peeled it out.
I am incognito mode. I'm out of town, and I'm subletting my friend's place, and she was like, will you please not show my home in your background? And I was like, yeah, that's fine.
But also, when you did that, though, it looked like it was selectively blocking out the banana, which I thought was great.
I'm eating because I just got done doing Calling It Now, and so I'm doing double duty. This is a 6-hour streamathon for me, and I've got to get...
Absolutely.
I got to keep my energy up, so...
Either you're at your weakness or you're just peaking and you're at your strength, and we will never have seen you stronger.
I'm cruising. I'm cruising.
You're cruising, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that in that way, what we definitely want is someone to call in
Absolutely.
and to. I feel like I'm on a telethon right now. Call in. We can raise it up for us to have a proper meal, not just a banana.
Am I on the right show
Anyhow,
on the because I see nobody in the chat. Are there people here?
you might not be. I'm seeing chat. Chat, let us know. Give us emojis in the chat if you
Hold on.
if you're seeing. I'm seeing Japanese banana in the chat. So it's happening. You might not be on the right one.
The
And we
show
also
Sunday
have
show after
callers.
dark. Let me open this one.
We have
Sunday
to
show
hit the
AD.
refresh.
What? No, I'm not getting anything. What in the
Ruh-roh.
world?
You may
Chat
have
one.
to.
Yeah, I am on chat one, and it's still. I don't know why I'm
We
not
got
seeing.
emojis.
Anyway,
That's all right.
whatever. It's all
Now
good.
you
I can
don't.
see
Now you just won't be able to hear how great the chat thinks you are. So you'll have
and
to.
I'm seeing these callers over here, like Robert and Nickel, right?
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm in the right place. I
Yeah.
just for some reason I'm not seeing chat.
Oh well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. We do love our chat, and we appreciate you all as well. But you're not actually involved in the calls anyhow. But you are potentially among those who are going to be converted, listened to, all that kind of stuff. So while our call screeners are listening to the calls, what was the highlight of your afternoon with the previous show?
Oh geez. I don't know. We had a good time. We read some super chats just because we ran out of callers. Just no one was really calling in. And we had a good time though reading there were some funny things. I sort of talked about like my guidelines to if I'm ever engaging in ad hominem attacks on people's physical appearance, it's usually because they've done it to me first. And so it's like I don't ever do that unless the door has been opened. And then usually my strategy is to kind of 8 Mile them, which is to say in the movie 8 Mile, Eminem first makes fun of himself in the finale rap battle against Papa Doc. He makes fun of himself first, and then he makes fun of Papa Doc, and then he's like, "What do you got now that I just roasted myself worse than you could ever possibly do? So what are you gonna say next?" And I do that when I roast people, is I'll make fun of myself because usually conservatives will just be really like bland with the way that they make fun of me. They'll just be like, "You're fat."
Right.
They'll just be like, "You're fat and ugly, and you look like a pedophile," and I'm like, "Okay." And I'm like, first of all, I don't. And we had a whole long conversation about like I don't know what a pedophile looks like. And then we had a really long conversation about why everyone always says immediately when they see mustache, "Oh, pedo stash." But I'm like, if you actually think about, like, just think in your head, like, go through your Rolodex of like well-known pedophiles, like off the top of your head. Tell me how long it takes before you think of one who actually has a mustache. So we started talking about where does that come from, and I think Javon might have nailed something accidentally because he sort of jokingly said, well, what if it was like conservatives' way of discrediting Freddie Mercury? So they said like, oh, well, people with mustaches have or people with mustaches are pedophiles to make Freddie Mercury look bad. And then I was like, wait, you might actually be onto something because a lot of gay men were wearing mustaches in the 80s during the beginning of the AIDS outbreak.
Yeah, and Tom Selleck.
Yeah, and Magnum PI. And it might have been a way for conservative America to like denigrate the queer community by,
you know what? That makes some sense.
And I was like, whoa, we might be onto something here. Because like when I go through my Rolodex of like faces that I've seen on To Catch a Predator, there are very few mustaches in actuality, you know?
And honestly, my first thought when you said you look like a pedophile was like, well, you're not wearing a priest collar, so I don't know.
Right.
I know that's the low-hanging fruit joke, but it was the first thing that came up to me.
I'm not an elected Republican, and I'm not wearing a collar. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what we think. Yeah. Billionaires on islands. That's what we now think of.
Right. If I go through I went through my Rolodex, I'm like, Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, Jerry Sandusky, Jared from Subway. Stop me when you get to the first mustache. But like, this is sort of just the thing that people go with. And I just think it's lazy. And I think there are so I sort of also said like, there are just so many more clever things you could say to make fun of my physical appearance. And I listed a few, and then the chat had a really good time saying things. Someone said that I have like a condition called bullfrog neck. And I thought that was pretty funny. And but I think they were jumping off of mine, which is I said I look like Boss Nass if he lived in Brooklyn and worked at a coffee shop. And
oh wow, yeah, well, love it. All right, and cheers to everyone who knows who Boss Nass is. Yeah. All right. Well, we got at least one call ready to go. I think we should jump in, and then we can chit chat more if we need to.
Yeah.
But let's chat with, and I guarantee you're going to have thoughts here. So let's talk to Robert. Welcome to the Line After Dark, Sunday After Dark. What can we talk with you about tonight? Me. Yeah.
You want someone to help you, maybe make you believe in God?
That would be first priority for sure.
We would love that.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, I believe the more near-death experiences you've had in your life, the closer you get to believing in a God, because in a lot of cases, it's the only explanation you can think of for why you are still alive. And I've had a lifetime of near-death experience.
First of all, it sounds like you've had a rough life. If you've had if you have a whole catalog of times you've nearly died, that sounds pretty exciting.
I've survived 15 murder attempts. I survived 5 murder attempts before I was 6 years old.
God.
At what point?
Shaking baby.
At some point, did you wonder if maybe it was you?
That's what I was saying. The more near-death experiences
victim blamer.
You begin to think logically that God's the only reason there can be for my survival.
So just so we're clear here, so these near-death experiences are for you among the top reasons you believe in God? Would that be an accurate statement?
Yeah, just the personal reasons. I have one that I believe you might identify with.
Tell me about your near-death experience that you think that is least explainable.
Okay.
By natural ideas.
Okay, I live in a small town in Tennessee. Caveman city. And in 1994, I had car trouble. Was riding with a friend, had what I thought was a friend, had car trouble. I was walking back to where my car was. A 300-pound belligerent homicidal maniac wearing a police uniform stopped, asked if I needed assistance. I said, no, I'm walking back to my car. He then said, do you want to ride to the jail? I said, no, I'm walking back to my car. He then grabbed me, slammed me into the police cruiser. He said, we're going for a ride. He emptied my pockets, did a very thorough pat-down, weapon search, emptied my billfold and car keys on the hood of the car. This was when they had the 3-foot-long flashlights. They had taken them off the streets in 93. He still had one, November 13th, 1994. 3-foot-long flashlight weapons. He then, after emptying my pockets, he then made the statement, you think you're tough. You think you're real tough. I'm fixing to show you how tough you are. He then took 4 deep breaths very fast. And I glanced behind me when I heard the heavy breathing and saw that I was a millisecond away from having the side of my head caved in. I turned fast enough to get hit on the back of my head, which I had permanent scarring and permanent injuries and disabilities. I dodged 3 more. Dove over the hood of the police car, escaped. I waited 3 days before I called the sheriff. I didn't think the man was even going to admit to the encounter. What could he possibly say? So after 3 days, I called the sheriff. I said, did somebody find my car keys and wallet on the road? He said, you need to come to jail and post bond. I said, what could I possibly be charged with? I went to the jail. They handed me an envelope with my car keys and billfold, which proved they completed a search. And I was informed at the jail that I was charged with resisting arrest And the officer was wrote on his affidavit of complaint that he received a call, somebody's walking down the road. He asked if I needed assistance. As he started to search me, I spun around, hit him in his nose, and ran away. And when it went to preliminary court, he also alleged that I had a gun during the attack. So, if this man would not...
Are we getting to the near-death part? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I survived that. But
a near-death experience, from, as I understand it, is something that it's really intended by most people in your position, most theists, to really mean a post-death experience, that you've experienced something, while you
had some kind of
dead,
contact with the afterlife.
Are we getting to that part?
The miracle that happened. The miracle that happened was the man confessed in court, because if he wouldn't have confessed, the charges would have been upgraded to attempted murder on a cop while armed. I would be in prison right now. When I found out he alleged that I assaulted him, I went to a preacher. Me and a preacher got on our knees and prayed to God for the truth to come out. I said some people were telling lies about me. That's a miracle. But if you want the near-death experiences,
hold on. Let's not move on quite yet. A couple questions, Robert. So, hell of a story, and I'm sorry that happened to you. First of all, I am not at all convinced that the coincidence of you praying for God to have this man reveal the truth in court and then the man confessing is evidence of a miracle. Second of all, I would wonder why, what about all the people who prayed for their attackers to be brought to justice and God did not answer their prayers? Why did God select you for the miracle and not those people?
That's just the way it goes, I guess. I'm always been a firm believer. During the attack, after the first hit on the back of my head, and I looked back and I was about to be hit again on the side of my head, I put my elbow up, and right before it hit my elbow, time stopped. And I saw a 20-foot figure glowing, dressed in white. I could not see through him. He was solid. He was in this physical world. He had long, wavy hair, a robe to his feet, wearing sandals and a girdle around his waist. And it could only be Jesus Christ. He stopped time. And I
Why
dove
could
over.
It only be
okay?
Why could it only be Jesus Christ?
I don't know, but this is getting awesome.
That's who I thought it was. That's who I thought it was.
Sorry, you carry on.
That's who I believe it was.
Enjoying this.
And I heard the voice.
So finish it up.
This just got so awesome. Keep going.
He spoke to me in my mind. We were on the side of the mountain, the cliff where people dump garbage. He said you could push him off the cliff and try to make it to Chattanooga. That's Chattanooga, Tennessee, in his police car and talk to the FBI, or you can run and he'll make up a lie and then tell the truth in court and you'll get paid. That's why I didn't defend myself physically. I ran away.
Cool.
Everything happened exactly like the voice said. He made up a lie. It went to court and he told the truth, and evil men kept me from getting paid. A federal court in Chattanooga ruled during a trial for litigation.
Robert, really quickly.
Tennessee wasn't responsible because the cop had never been to cop school.
Robert, can you hear us?
Yes.
Really quickly.
Sorry, go ahead.
Really quickly, I just want to let you know, I am really fascinated with your story. I think that there's a lot of fun elements here. This is a lot of like more detail than we typically get from people who are calling in, telling us that they've had encounters with spiritual. Yeah, it sounds wild. Why should I believe that this actually happened to you? And I don't mean this in any kind of confrontational way. This is it's documented. You have this documented. This vision that you saw of this personage with the satchel or whatever it was. You've got proof of that, like video proof, photographic proof.
It's
other people
the federal court system. The
federal courts verified that you had this vision.
I mean, I'm the only one that saw that, I guess.
So that's what
I'm freezing. He saved my life. I would be dead. If you can imagine a 300-pound
Robert, that's the part I'm asking about, though.
Standing behind you.
Robert, I'm not asking about whether or not the court case went through and whether or not you were satisfied with the outcome. I'm asking, why should I believe that you saw this vision that you say that you saw? It's an amazing story, but I'm just wondering, do you have any...
I would be in the ground right now. I would be in the ground. I would have been mutilated beyond recognition and then shot. And nobody in the town would have cared. My own family would not have cared. They've been trying to kill me since I was 1 year old.
So you're saying that no one has ever survived an attack that God didn't intervene?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's the only logical conclusion that I can think of for how I survived this particular encounter after a lifetime of similar.
Robert, is that a good way? Is that a good way to know what's true?
I saw it with my own eyes.
If you can't think of a reason that you'd assume God, is that a good methodology for life?
I guess so.
You advocate
he allowed
for that.
me to live for some reason. I believe he allowed me to live so I can tell this story. Maybe some people believe it. Maybe some people won't.
Well, Robert, and I don't mean this in a derogatory sense or anything, but I can tell you right now, Paul and I both unequivocally are not convinced by your story. And it's not, I'm genuinely not saying this to denigrate you or anything. It's just that, like, what we're asking for is you're telling us a really, really extraordinary story. Now, everything that we can observe in life shows that the nature of this God you think intervened on your behalf seems to be really inconsistent at best. This God seems to contradict himself a lot in what he wants to do and who he wants to help and why and when. And you kind of chalk that up all to like mysterious ways and everything. But you're claiming a definitive physical encounter with some kind of celestial being that stopped time and intervened and saved your life. And I'm saying for that part of the story, for me to be convinced of that, I'm asking you for any substantive evidence, and the best you can give me is like, trust me, it happened. And I wonder if you understand why we can't accept that. Does that make sense? Why we wouldn't be able to accept that?
I don't see how anyone could doubt the validity of this. I had to have had some kind of help escaping this situation. This was an inescapable situation.
But Robert, have you, for example, considered
there was no escape?
But Robert, have you considered that when people are attacked and when people get punched in the head and when people get beaten, that it is a common medical symptom that they will have hallucinations and that they will see things and hear voices? Are you generally aware that is a medical side effect of getting hit in the head?
Time stopping. I've never heard of anyone experiencing
obviously time didn't stop
during
for you,
the
Robert.
middle of the event.
Robert,
excuse me.
No, but if this vision told you things, time can't have been stopped because the one word have to come after another, right? There's a sequence of words coming, which implies time.
If he stopped time, he could have talked to me for an hour. He just said the basic paragraph.
Well, there can't be such thing as an hour.
Right, that's what we're saying. Is stopping time would preclude there being an hour.
My house was broken into one time by two crackheads, and I was beaten down and mugged, and one of them had me down and was on my back with a knife to my throat, screaming he's going to kill me. And his buddy was looking down at me, going through my wallet. And they beat me down, and I was so tired that I finally just closed my eyes. And when I opened my eyes, just a fraction of a second later, I was standing beside the one that was holding my wallet, counting my money. I know we have a soul because my soul has left my body before. And the man that was holding my wallet, counting my money.
The more times you tell me that you've been hit in the head and knocked out, the more I suspect that this may well be a neurological problem for you, right? Like, how did you rule out that it was your brain reacting like we know brains react when they are in trauma and being brutalized? How did you rule that out?
Maybe brains can astral project. You believe in astral projection? The government has done exhaustive studies. It is proven fact.
I don't, but that's fine. But that would still be a natural process then, right? That would still be, if that's a thing brains can do, that would be a natural thing.
Yeah.
So so you still haven't explained to me. You changed the topic, but you didn't tell me how you ruled out that this was just brain trauma or some flavor of brain trauma?
Because I wasn't hit on the head when the crackheads robbed me. They were just hitting me in the body and getting me down on the ground and pinning me down so they could get my wallet out of my pocket. But I really thought that he was going to cut my throat. I accepted that I was going to die. And I opened my eyes and I was out of my body.
Trauma response doesn't require being hit in the head, but let's stick with the one that you opened with, because I deliberately wanted you to narrow it to the best one. So this time when you were hit in the back of the head.
The execution.
And then you saw...
It was an execution.
Okay, fair enough. But that makes it all the more likely that your brain underwent something very traumatic, right? Traumatic?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so the more traumatic... Okay, so how did you rule out that this vision you had was not something interior to your brain? In fact, you even said, Jesus spoke to you in my mind. How did you...
Yes.
Did you do any effort to rule out any natural explanations?
I was in a life and death situation. There was no time to evaluate.
No, I mean afterwards. See, because now you're telling the story and you're safe. You're safe right now, and you're telling us the story.
Yeah, I have a photographic memory.
But you're attributing this vision you saw to being a really real Jesus. So you've had time to introspect on this.
Yes.
Did you spend any time at all trying to disprove your hypothesis that it was Jesus?
I don't see how I could disprove it. The voice said that it would go a certain way, and it went exactly the way he said. I escaped. The man made up a lie, and then he told the truth in court, except I didn't get paid. And this was 1994, and it seems like the entire world has been cursed since they denied me justice, recognition, and compensation. That's when Columbine, that's when it all started.
Wait, the assault on you was the reason why Columbine happened?
God has his favorites. But if you've ever read the Bible, you'll know that every part of the Bible, it's about one particular individual in any certain part of the Bible. And who's to say that he doesn't still have his favorites today?
Well, I think that if the Bible is true, he clearly does have favorites, because neither Austin or I have a chance to go to heaven right now because he hasn't demonstrated himself to us. So clearly, no, because you've had a string of visions. God, he's been talking to you plainly.
Yeah,
and neither of us have had the chance.
He's molded me like a piece of metal. I have no chance to be the way I am.
So it's very lucky to be Robert,
like
and very unlucky
so we
to
can
be
tell
us.
The story.
I see. So
he puts people like me through this, so we can tell people like you that's never experienced these things the stories.
Wouldn't it be better,
or you don't?
Wouldn't it be better to, rather than leaving it to that chance that you called into a call-in show that someone was tuned into, that he would announce it broadly in the sky for everyone, so that we don't require Robert to call in to an internet show?
Because he doesn't want that kind of belief. We would all be robots programmed.
How would we be robots?
And believe.
Tell me about that.
Wants somebody that believes without experiencing anything to believe for. He doesn't want robots.
But you understand that me believing believing that God exists is not the same as following. He could appear in the sky, and we could still say, "Screw you, Jesus. We don't like you and your rules."
The holographic projection.
But at least we would have informed consent, right?
Yeah.
Right now, I don't have informed consent.
That's for you. Maybe some people that hear this will believe, and maybe it'll change one person's life.
It's interesting that you say that, Robert, because I think the reason that why we're talking to you at this point is for the people listening, not for you. I don't think either one of us, at least I'm not at this point, operating under the delusion that we're going to change your mind in this phone call. But we're talking to you for the same reason. I think that displaying a lot of things that are important for people to hear. I think that you're displaying, and I am not saying this in an ableist or a derogatory way at all. You're displaying the very, very close relationship between mental illness and religious belief and religious fervor. And you are displaying symptoms of a person who believes that they have had, has had psychedelic events that they believe to be real. They've had hallucinated experiences that they believe to be real. This is something that people have. People experience these in all different kinds of ways. And what Paul was trying to get you to do earlier is just say, have you ever thought, could there be another explanation for this? Because Paul and I, as former theists, have had our own experiences, I'm sure. I know I have in my life where I asked to have a witness, in a state of prayer, and my body was overcome with goosebumps and chills and this feeling, this certainty in my heart and in my mind. My prayer was being answered, that I was being comforted to know that I was following the correct religion. Then later in my life, all I had to do was just ask myself, could there be another explanation for why that experience happened the way it happened? And the answer to that question was, yeah, there are innumerable explanations for why that happened the way it happened. Bodies respond to stimuli in all different kinds of ways. And, you said earlier you have a photographic memory. This is something that people are very confident in. People really believe that the way that they remember things is so detail oriented. If I had to guess, if I asked you, how often do you tell these stories you told us, I'm sure you would say that you tell these stories all the time, that these are stories that you have recited for years over and over and over again. So there's no way I'm going to get you to doubt a single detail of the way you tell this story. You know this story, every single detail of it, but there have been a lot of studies done that people who believe they remember exactly how an event happened will have a conversation with someone else who was there on the exact same day, who believes they know exactly what happened, and both of them have very different accounts of what happened. And it's because the more time that we tell a story over time, our brain can't recall the exact images that we saw. It just recalls the last time we told the story. So we're just bringing up the memory of the last time we told the story, reprinting that copy by telling it again, and then the next time we tell it, we have to go back to the last time we told it, and it's sort of like a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, where several years later, what maybe was a rush of euphoria becomes a flash of bright light, and something that went from a feeling in my central nervous system gets externalized to a personage appeared to me and spoke to me. It can extrapolate out that much. I don't expect you to change your mind on this call, but we are talking to you just in case other people are listening who are curious about how these experiences that you're talking about, what they might actually be, if not the real deal.
No one can contradict anything I say. It's never been refuted.
You also can't prove a single word of what you said. We can't contradict it because it's not provable. It's non-falsifiable.
How in theory would a person, Robert? How in theory would a person do that? But how could I possibly say you didn't see How could we, two individuals, ever say you didn't see Jesus? How would that even work?
You couldn't. And if you got a hardened heart,
it's not a falsification.
There's no way for you to believe.
Impressive. It's not impressive that no one's refuted you.
I believe if there was,
because it was inside your head, right?
You might identify with this. You might identify with this. I believe if there wasn't a God, that our world would be like Star Trek right now. We would be meeting alien life.
We'd all turn into puppets.
But we have to be a controlled experiment. This has to be a controlled experiment. Earth is the ultimate freak of nature because it
Robert,
supports
that's
life.
Possible. That is indistinguishable. That is something that we could never possibly know, and indistinguishable from anything. That's also a non-falsifiable claim. That I don't think it's the most parsimonious explanation. But can we get back to your vision for a second? You said that someone dressed as a policeman was beating you near to your. But okay, fair. Okay, so a cop was
getting
beating
paid.
you.
He was driving a cop car wearing a uniform. He was getting paid by the city.
So how big a stretch is it for your brain to say, this guy might lie in court? That doesn't seem like that does not seem like a divinely inspired prediction, right? That seems like that's the kind of prediction your brain might
of confessing. He had never confessed.
I believe he had no
intention.
But you said part of the prophecy was that he would lie in court. I feel like
he would tell the truth
with near 99% precision that a corrupt police officer who beats someone, 99% of those are willing to lie in court, right? Like that seems like
absolutely. But he told the truth in court. That was a miracle.
But the prediction you had was that he was going to lie in court. And again, I'm just saying that's not
that he
a
would
miraculous
tell the truth
prediction.
In court. He made up a lie at first on the affidavit of complaint, accusing me of assault. And, he told the truth in court.
The point is, Robert, there are any number of reasons why he went from trying to get out of accountability by lying to telling the truth. Maybe he, was working a program and his sponsor told him, you know what, you got to tell the truth in court. Maybe his therapist told him to do it. Maybe he got a plea deal. Maybe there are any number of, maybe he just had a flash of conscience and he said, you know what, I actually think I should pay for what I did. Who knows? There are any number of reasons why he did it.
I witnessed the surprise look
I understand
on his face.
that you were there.
Sweat pop out of his forehead when he accidentally said yes.
Robert, do you know?
He accidentally said yes, Robert. If he accidentally said yes, that means he just slipped up. Yeah. That also does not require a miracle. That's just someone who accidentally said the true thing when being rattled in a court situation.
The look on his face and the sweat popped out of his forehead when he said
I believe you that he didn't want to say that.
Is that when you started clubbing my client on his head? And he was shaking his head no, he was trying to say no, and his mouth said yes, and sweat popped out of his forehead. And he got this weird look on his face, and then he just confirmed every word I say. My lawyer was trying to help him. We had a verbal agreement, handshake agreement before.
It's an amazing story.
And I said it's some miracle.
So Robert,
just really quick, just for clarification, just really quick, just so that we're operating on really quick terms here, because I'm pretty sure I know what the answer is. Is there anything that Paul and I could say today that would dissuade you from thinking that these things happened to you literally and they happened the exact way that you say them, that Jesus appeared to you, and that you know this for sure? Is there anything we could say to change your mind on that?
No, I mean, what could you possibly say?
Yeah, that's kind of my point. I'm asking
you. What could I possibly say to you? Except
you could provide any kind of physical evidence that this actually happened.
The scars on the back of my head, the documents, they went through the court system.
That doesn't prove that you saw Jesus Christ.
But none of those are the things we doubt. I'm fully willing to grant that you got hit in the head. I'm fully willing to grant that in court, a corrupt police officer ended up telling the truth. I can grant that all those things happen. I can even grant that you saw the vision of Jesus. What we are doubting is your attribution.
Me. Yeah,
we're not.
I would like to thank. I think that absolutely happened. I would like to thank you both for not belittling me.
Not. Okay.
You're welcome.
You are obviously very highly intelligent, full functioning men. And the only thing I could say to you that might make you think about the existence of God would be, what would it hurt for you just to go through the motions and say, okay, I believe in God, but if you really don't mean it.
I did
that for 40 years, Robert.
Yeah, we both already did it.
For 4 decades, I did that.
I look at it as like we're trapped in a world, and God's the ultimate serial killer. And if you don't agree with what he says, he will throw you in a swimming pool full of oil and gas and light it on fire. And he's so mean that he won't even allow you to die. You suffer like that forever. And all you've got to do is say, he's going to ask you one question to escape that horrible fate.
Wow,
he's going to say, what color is the sky? And he's even going to tell you the answer by.
Is there a single mafia boss that you would respect? Who would do that? Sounds like a mafia boss.
All you have to do is say the sky is blue. All you have to do is answer,
I am going to burn your bar down, and all you have to do is give me $1,000 a week, and I won't burn your bar down.
All you have to do is say the sky is blue. That's all you have to do. What color is the sky?
No, it's not that.
Say blue. And people,
no, because I
people
believe
that
the sky
don't
is
believe,
blue.
they're
I'd
going
have
to
to
say,
say
well,
that,
the sky is black. They're going to have 1,000 different shades of gray for the sky except blue. And they're taking a chance
Yeah, that's
on
not what we're
being
being
put
asked
in
to
that
do,
horrible
though,
fate.
Robert.
Maybe
It's
if you
a
just
false
said the sky is
equivalence.
blue,
We're not
maybe if
being
you
asked
just
to
said
say
the
I'm
sky is
wearing a
blue,
white shirt
you'd
right
start
now.
to
That's
believe.
not what we're being asked. That's not what we're being
do you
asked.
think that God would be fooled if we just mouth the words, I believe in Jesus, even if we don't? Do you think that your God is going to be fooled?
You just said it. You'll receive a blessing, sir, for saying that, even if you didn't mean it.
Okay, so is that good enough?
Okay.
Like your God can't tell the difference between me genuinely saying
it and just saying the words? It's the first step. It's the first step to let him in your heart.
I did 40
years.
I've memorized most of the New Testament,
miracle
Robert.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Maybe you'll experience a miracle tomorrow because you just said that. Even though you didn't mean it.
That would be great.
Maybe you'll
but that
experience
won't happen on this call.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your thoughts, Robert. And I encourage you, just like you encourage us to, mouth the words that we don't believe in. I encourage you to think about whether there's other things that could explain the story that you love to tell. And with that, it was a pleasure. And I
confessed in court. That's all I thought about.
All right.
Talked about.
Okay.
All right. I'd be happy to talk to you again on another night for an hour and let you go. Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Robert. I want to just address something really quick that's going on in chat. There's a chat right now about whether or not it's ethical for us to talk to someone when it's clear that this person is suffering from some kind of mental illness or mental health episode. First things first. Paul and I are not here to diagnose the callers and diagnose them with whatever pathologies you think they might have or whatever comorbid diagnoses you are diagnosing them with while you're listening to the calls. And second of all, what do you think we do? We are talking to people here who believe that the universe was created by a magic space wizard who watches you masturbate and who's going to send you to an eternal torture realm forever. And you're saying well, once you know that the person you're talking to isn't all mentally connected and isn't the most mentally healthy person ever, it's unethical to continue the call. That's what we do on the show. We are talking to people who are voluntarily unmoored from objective reality and trying to persuade them to come back to a more grounded, realistic worldview. That is the show. And I'm watching in the chat people be like, come on, guys, this isn't cool. This guy's not well. I'm like, who do you think we're talking to on this show, guys? We're talking to people who hear voices in their head and think it's angels. We're talking to people who think that they can pray because their car keys went missing, and the God of the universe will reveal to them where the car keys are hidden. We're not talking to people who are connected to an objective, healthy sense of what reality is. Okay? But all that being said, sorry, anyway, I was just going to say, all that being said...
to be clear,
yeah.
I believed everything Robert believed and would have said the same. I attributed all kinds of experiences that I had to God, and I absolutely... Whenever my car keys were lost, I absolutely prayed for them to be found. And every time they were miraculously found. So, and I don't feel like I got one IQ point smarter or that I was mentally more healthy. It's not, theism isn't a mental illness, right? I didn't get cured of a mental illness when I stopped believing. So yeah, I'm adding my affirmation as a former believer to what you're saying.
For sure. Exactly. It's like, I actually have several comorbid mental illnesses as outlined in the DSM-7 that I've been diagnosed with, and I live with those and I medicate them. I have panic disorder and ADHD and OCD, and it's all these things that are can be really difficult to live with. But I don't think you watch the show and go, wait a minute, this is actually not ethical. Austin right now is dealing with a lot of anxiety. It's not ethical to be having a conversation with him right now. Robert volunteered to call into the show. It's not our job to identify whatever condition you think it is Robert's living with and then terminate the call because we've determined it's unethical to talk to a person who is dealing with whatever ailment you've determined they have. we don't know what Robert has or doesn't have. We just are here to talk to Robert about his experience with his faith and his belief. And he was offering us a story that is not really that different from a lot of stories you're going to hear from people who are trying to persuade you to believe in a more magical version of reality. So I just wanted to get that out there, that it's like, I don't think there's anything unethical about just talking to a person about their experience. And
and to reiterate, just because I live where I live, religion is not a mental illness. So that's not something that we so in the chat we'll again, we do want to be responsible hosts, and feedback is always welcome. We're going to just respectfully disagree on this one. We do have another theist on the line. I do want to say, though, that we would love to talk to more theists. So if you think that Robert did a poor job of defending his faith and you think that you can do a better job, then you should absolutely get in the queue and talk to us, because I feel like tonight is the night where we are primed and ready to come back to belief. We'll see how it goes. But first, let us talk to Curtis in the UK. Curtis, you're on the line with Paul and Austin. Welcome to Sunday After Dark.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
It's Curtis. What's up, man? Haven't heard from you in a minute.
We're doing okay. Tell us about what do you want to talk about tonight?
I'd like to go in a slightly different direction about the soul.
Okay.
It's not anecdotal. It is from medical doctors.
Wait, so you said medical and antidote. Did you mean anecdote or antidote?
No. Anecdotal.
Okay,
what
so
I'm going to present you now is not my story.
Oh, it's not anecdotal.
Medical
Perfect.
doctors.
Okay.
Will you be willing to type in Hannah Hema, which is ANNA, then it's EHMER.
Like a person's name, Anna Enner?
Hema. EHMER. Hema. Anna Hema.
Okay, but this is the name of a person.
That's correct.
Okay. I'm getting her Etsy shop. You're plugging her Etsy shop?
Pardon?
Carry on. What about Anna should we know? And why isn't Anna calling herself?
Oh, I wanted you to type the name into Google.
I did, and I got an Etsy shop.
An empty shop. But
Etsy shop, like she's selling vases that she's painted herself.
Oh, no. Right. ANNA.
You know what? Let's pretend we have no internet. Tell us about Anna. Tell us what we need to know.
No, because what I'm going to tell you now is from medical doctors. It's not hearsay. It's from medical doctors.
Okay, but do I require an internet connection for this story to work?
Yes, I'd like you to read the story.
No, I'm not going to read stories on the air. That's bad. That's bad. You're here to tell us about the soul.
And what I'm trying to
do research
will prove the soul.
Right, so just tell us the story. Tell us the antidote, please. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
No,
sorry.
Like I said, it's not an antidote.
All right,
it's from medical science.
Okay, all right. Tell us the story from medical science, please. We're not going to read the article on the air.
Well, it's impossible to tell you then, isn't it?
What do you mean it's impossible? Why?
If you were in an elevator with someone, could you not tell them this story?
Because without you typing a name in and reading it,
okay, we don't do homework on this show. Do you need us to? Do you need to call back next week so that we can all read this and do the homework? Our viewers at home are maybe not, or they're driving or something. They may not be.
Are you scared? Are you scared that I'm going to convert you?
No, I literally typed it in and I'm getting nothing. That's why I'm saying you have not given me.
Curtis, do you know what the story is? Curtis, do you know what the story is? Do you know what we're meant to read in this article?
Yes.
Okay, then just tell us what that is. Tell us what that is.
Anna Katharina Hamer.
So tell us what it is. If you've read the story and you know what the story is, I watched a movie yesterday. I could tell you what the movie was about. I could give you a pretty good rough breakdown of it. Just tell us what it is. Okay, thank you.
I can't talk loud because it's 2 a.m. where I am and there's people in bed.
Okay.
Right. A young person was born and she was mentally disabled from birth, and she was basically in a mental institution all her life, and she never spoke a word in her life. And 2 hours before she died, at 24, she started talking and singing. Plain clear, like there was nothing wrong with her. Now, how can that be explained? And this is by medical doctors that was caring for her. Not my story, not the story that's on the internet. These are by medical doctors that was caring for her for over 20 years.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Is that it?
Have you got an explanation for that?
What explanation what do you think is the explanation?
Terminal lucidity, the soul. Have you ever heard of terminal lucidity?
But this was before she died, right?
Yes. So imagine now that, imagine you was born now, severe disabled. You've never spoke a word in your life, not one word in your whole life, and then several hours before you died, you started talking and singing, plain as day.
Yeah. How does that prove a soul?
Explain that?
What do you think a soul is?
Basically, your brain is like a radio. It don't produce consciousness; it receives it.
How does this demonstrate that?
Because the poor girl's brain was damaged throughout her life, but before she passed away, she got a clear signal.
I suppose that's a hypothesis. I first of all, you are correct that we do actually need the thing, because I've been searching now. The whole time you've been talking, I'm saying like woman who couldn't speak, but an hour before she died, could. I'm fine. Like I'm literally finding nothing about this person. So my questions are many before I am going to answer how this happened. It's like, was she deaf, for example? Was she deaf?
No, she was severely disabled.
Right. So it's not. So you're talking about this clear signal. It's not that she didn't understand words or understand what singing was. Even if I grant your story. Right.
Why don't you look up what I'm saying, and then you'll see it.
I am literally. I've searched 15 things Curtis, I've searched 15 things. None of them show up.
I remember the last time we talked, you get so mad so fast. We're not even mad. We're chilling, dude.
Curtis, do you have the study in front of you?
Yes.
What's it called? Every study has a title. What's this? What paper was it in? And what's the name of the study? And who wrote the study?
Here's the thing. While you're looking that up, Curtis, hold on. While you're looking that up, what I'll say is, even if we hypothetically say that everything you just said is true, that this girl woke up and started speaking and singing right before she died, and she'd been catatonic and not speaking and nonverbal her whole life, there are so many different theories that we could work through and operate on. We don't need to just go to this concept of that proves that the brain is a radio that sort of channels the soul. And I mean, there's so many.
This is what winds me up for you, lot, because
hold on. Curtis, calm
down. You will
down.
not listen to anybody else, will you?
I'm gonna mute you really quick because you just get so worked up so fast. So there's a lot of research that's gone into the nature of I want to say the bicameral brain. Is that the right word? Bicameral. It's the left brain versus the right brain, and how, people who
the hemispheres,
the hemispheres, to treat severe epilepsy, sometimes they'll sever the nerve endings between the two sides, and then that's how we sort of found out about the difference between the two sides, and how they can operate they can almost fully operate as individual brains, and how they both do different things, and then they communicate with each other, and how your right side controls the left side of your body, and your left side controls the right side of your body, and all that stuff. We figure that out by doing these treatments on people with epilepsy. But there's so many different, when you talk about the brain being a radio that downloads a signal of a soul, that's one hypothesis that we could certainly go and test. We could go and look into it and see if the brain seems to be downloading or grabbing onto a signal from somewhere. But you can't just say this thing happened, therefore soul. You got to show your work. You got to show the studies. You got to show the independent studies that did their own experiments the same way. It can't just be one story that then means soul. That's just one possibility, and it's a pretty outlandish hypothesis. There's no reason why we should believe that before we should believe that her left brain was awake in this catatonic state, and it was getting information that she was taking in, and it was being stored somewhere in her right brain. I'm unmuting you now, okay? So do you understand what I just said?
Yeah. Can I speak to Paul, please? Because I'm getting over with you.
Okay, go ahead.
Give me the. So I did find a story about Mary Rose Powell, but that's a different thing. Carry on.
No.
What's the name of the paper? Who wrote it?
Are you aware of the phonetic alphabet?
I'm aware of the phonetic alphabet. I thought you were going to tell me the name of this peer-reviewed article, who wrote it, and what paper it was published in.
Listen to me, please. Right.
Phonetic letters, Alpha, I know phonetic letters.
November, Alpha.
Alpha. November,
Alpha. Slash. Kilo, Alpha, Tango. Hotel, Alpha, Romeo, India, November, Alpha, / Echo, Hotel, Mike, Echo, Romeo.
Okay.
Now, all I want to do...
What is the name? I'm still literally not finding anything related to medical or miracles for this person. So, what is the name of
Health?
Oh, the NIH, perfect. And who wrote the paper?
N/November Alpha Hotel Mike 2013.
Okay. So, I'm gonna check on this because I 2013 tells me that this has been around for a long time, and that if I should have been impressed by this, someone should have brought it to my attention by now. So, but again, let's just say you said how do we who are not, you're not a doctor, are you, Austin? I forget. Are you a medical doctor?
No.
Oh, okay, I forgot. Yeah, no, you're not a medical, and I'm also not a medical doctor. So you called to ask us how that this could happen, and yet we are aware in general, of brain research.
Brains are weird, dude. Neuroscience is wild. You should look into it. Rather than just going, that means there's a soul, look into neuroscience. Like, actually read stuff that people who study human brains.
Of the blind.
So this was a study in terminal lucidity.
That's correct. No, it wasn't a study. It's medical facts by medical doctors.
So it's literally called The Death of Anna Kathina Aylmer, a case study in terminal lucidity. So it was a study. It was a case study. Fun fact, there's also a case study about me if you want in the medical research, because I was a weird medical case at one point. But that doesn't, so they did a case study. That just means they just studied her case. And I'm seeing here that there's nothing in this about it being a miracle or a soul. They literally have explanations in this paper about how they think it happened naturally.
No, they don't.
Did you read the paper, and why did you reject the naturalistic explanations that are in this paper?
As I said, she never spoke a word in her entire life. And 1 hour before she
understood,
died,
but she heard words. She understood, and she heard words, and she understood words.
Okay,
dude, Curtis, I like you, dude. You're awesome. Last time you called in, I got so mad at you, but this time I'm like, I get it. No, I see the vision. I really see it. Like, you call in with a different name every time, and you are like such a unique, funny person.
Yeah, I call him with a different name because none of you will type in what I want you to do and try and understand what I'm trying to say.
Okay, but I literally Curtis, I now have this paper right in front of me. PubMed, NIH, The Death of Anna Katharina Amer, the case study in terminal lucidity. I have the paper open. It is literally telling me what they think happened.
Okay.
And you're telling me the paper that I'm supposed to look up is garbage, apparently.
Right. Will you explain this to me? Vicky, Vicki?
God damn it, no.
No, we're on. This is the only paper we're looking up.
No, we're not going to another one.
No, this is a person born blind that had an NDE and come out of a body and
everything. Cool.
Okay.
So
how can I be explained?
So hold on. I'm now reading this paper, and it says it is an unresolved anomaly, and explicitly says that the authenticity cannot be definitively established. As in, the people who wrote this up are telling me that the authenticity cannot be fully established. Is that concerning to you?
Because it's a miracle. No, nobody knows.
No. The authenticity about whether these claims are correct.
No, the claims are correct. They're medical doctors.
No, the medical doctors can absolutely say, I cannot confirm this, but I've been told X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, they can write down they can document that it happened, that the patient explained,
or that it's been claimed,
that it was claimed. Yeah. Right? So like there's going to be documentation anytime there's an NDE that happens in a medical facility, and they're making charts and they're doing notes. Anytime a patient says, "Hey, I flatlined and I."
Lucidity.
Right. Okay. Whatever. Yeah. Okay. And terminal lucidity, this is a naturally occurring phenomenon too. Like this is a thing that happens. Like people experiencing conscious trips while they're flatlining, while they're high on what's the DMT, and like there's all these there's all these different fascinating things with neuroscience.
Curtis, just a hypothesis. There's no evidence for that.
Yeah, exactly. You said that's just a hypothesis. It's a way more viable hypothesis than the brain is an antenna that picks up a radio signal, and the radio signal is the soul.
But now I'm reading, Curtis. What year did this happen, my friend? What year did this happen?
I think it was about the 1900s.
Yes, it allegedly happened in 1922. And this paper came out in 2013, so it was written in 2012. 90 years. This paper was written 90 years after the alleged event. What could any doctor possibly tell me about something that they were not born when it happened?
You don't
Is this
understand
literally
what
the
I'm
best
saying.
paper you've got?
We understand exactly what we understand what you're saying, Curtis. You're showing us studies that have been documented by the medical community where people have either claimed to have an NDE, where they went outside of their body and looked at themselves, or where someone who was catatonic woke up and started speaking.
You're lying.
No, we understand what you're saying, Curtis, that these are medical phenomena, weird things that have happened that we don't have a full explanation for, and you're saying they're proof of a soul, and we're saying they are not proof of a soul.
My brother.
Curtis.
Calm down.
Curtis. Curtis, how is it proof of a soul, Curtis?
Me.
Curtis, I'm listening. How is it proof? Curtis, how is it proof of a soul?
Curtis.
Curtis.
It's gone 2 in the morning where I am. Please.
All right, okay. Curtis, tell me how these things prove. Curtis, we're here. I'm listening to you, buddy.
The Sunday After Dark, where it's 2 a.m.
Curtis, how is this proof of a soul? Let's get into it.
Let's just ASMR this. That's right. We're going to go quiet.
Yeah, Curtis, how is it proof of a soul?
Right, exactly. Right. You're not listening.
Curtis, yeah, how is it proof of a soul, Curtis?
Wait, these statements that come from are from the doctors that was caring for this woman.
Yes, Dr. Michael Naum and Dr. Bruce Grayson, who were not born. Their parents were not born when this event happened.
Please don't mention that. Bloody Bruce Grayson, he's a bloody
their parents weren't. Their parents weren't born when this event happened. How can they possibly tell me anything?
Hold. Don't mention Bruce Grayson to me and Sam Parnia. They nonsense.
Chris, you sent me this paper. You sent me this paper that Bruce Grayson wrote.
Was from the direct doctors that was caring for Anna.
This is crazy, dude. Curtis.
Okay, but you understand that the doctors that you're appealing to, you want us to imbue them with authority. Their parents were not born when this happened, so they cannot tell me anything about what happened.
You just won't listen, will you? That's a problem.
Curtis, just answer the question. How do either of these medical journals, either of these publications say we have definitively proved that there's a soul? We documented it. We took an MRI picture of this woman's soul, and we have it. We took an X-ray, and we saw it in there. We saw her soul glowing, hugging her skeleton.
Have I stated that? Have I said that?
I'm just saying, I want to know how you're getting from A to B. I want to know how you are conclusively proving this hypothesis.
Well, if you bump your gums for 2 minutes, I'm trying to explain to you both.
Okay, I'm ready.
Right, well, shush. Right.
Okay.
Now, in 1926, or whatever you all said it was, there was 3 medical doctors. There was 2 doctors with this poor woman 24/7 round the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Basically different medical things for 20 odd years, as I said. She was in like an institute. She was non-verbal, non-speaking, and
yes, we have
an hour
established
before
this.
she died, she started talking, she started singing, and the one doctor ran out to the other and he said, "You need to come and see this, because you're not going to believe it." And the doctor came in, and she was singing, and she was talking.
No way. What?
And then,
did you know?
And then she suddenly died.
This is crazy, Curtis. What?
Okay, Curtis. What do you think the state of neuroscience and psychology and the understanding of nonverbal people? So this was, again, keep in mind, this was 6 years before antibiotics were invented. So antibiotics didn't exist throughout the time when this allegedly happened. And so what you want to tell me is that the 2 town doctors, because you didn't really have to be that qualified to be the town doctor in 1922, saw something that they didn't understand. And then 90 years later, it showed up in a paper.
Okay.
And I'm supposed to say, well, this can't even be explained. And I'm the doofus. Oh, sorry, I'm being quiet. And I'm apparently the doofus for saying, did this happen? Instead of, how did this happen? Why am I the doofus in this situation?
Okay. Well, as I said, I don't know if it happened. You don't know if it happened.
Yeah. So why am I the bad person here? Right. Saying, I don't even know that this happened.
I don't know if it happened.
Exactly. Curtis, listen, we are actually trying to have a show where we have real conversations with people, and we actually try to get to the bottom of, do you have something to offer us in the way of proving whether or not? No, Curtis, we're done. And this has been fun. It's silly though. It's not a real thing. It's really clear.
You've got something else for you.
Curtis, no, it's fine, Curtis. We don't need to hear another
one thing per call.
We've heard 2 stories from you already. We're good, buddy.
No.
Maybe I'll look forward to talking to you again the next time, but we got a show to do here. So
our chat might get on our butts because we're talking to someone who is irresponsible to talk to.
You believe in the vaccines?
Yeah,
do
vaccines
I believe
work,
in vaccines?
Curtis. Yeah. Vaccine technology is and science is sound, Curtis. Yeah, okay.
No, vaccines.
Yeah, vaccine science is sound, Curtis. It's very, very clear.
I just believe that they exist.
Yeah.
Since
immunology is a real science.
No, since COVID, have you noticed there's a lot of people apparently being born with ADHD?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Autism.
So,
oh, God.
So hold on, Curtis. What year do you think that the COVID pandemic happened?
2020, was it?
Excellent. And anyone born 9 months after that, how old would they be now?
9 months out, well, bloody 5.
They'd be 5. Are you telling me that there is an epidemic of people 5-year-old and younger being diagnosed with ADHD?
And autism.
And autism. You're telling me that there's an epidemic of people 5 years old and younger being diagnosed with this thing.
Yes. And why I said that, my family don't listen to this, but since COVID, and what I'm saying now is the gospel truth, I've had 4 newborns in my family that have been born with autism, and 2 of them are non-verbal.
You understand that you understand that this is incredibly, that's just your experience. I'm aware of a lot of more than 4 babies who've been born in the last 5 years, and none of them are. So as far according to my anecdotal evidence, no one has autism or ADHD anymore.
Well,
do you understand how this is not an argument? This is just you're hanging out with people.
Oh,
Curtis, this is nothing, because it has nothing to do with the soul. It has nothing to do with God.
Curtis, you're just trying to stay on the show.
Claim.
You're just trying to stay on the show,
right.
and
I will rip you when off.
I find it I find you entertaining to talk to for that reason, but we have to be done. That is more than enough, and we do have to get on with our show and try to have some serious conversation.
He's already gone. I just was the idea that they're taking 4-year-olds in to get diagnosed with things. I mean, so certain forms of autism, absolutely, but he started with ADHD, and I'm like, they're not diagnosing 4-year-olds. My friend
who's a comedian has a bit that he does on stage where he's talking about like how RFK is always talking about, vaccines and autism, and he's like, listen, I'm not a doctor. He's like, but that's the most autistic man I've ever seen in my life. And he's like, do you know how many pet crows he has? He's like, he has 6 pet crows. Do you know how many crows you have to have as a pet to qualify as autistic? 1 pet crow. He's like, he's got 6.
Yeah, this is, and of course, this is entirely similar to the notion that in the 1960s, we had like a few dozen asteroids in our solar system, and now we've got tens of thousands of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Telescopes work better. Okay.
It's the left-handedness thing. It's just the more we understand about something, the more it becomes permissible to talk about something, to explore something, the more instances of it you see, and yeah.
I am unqualified, but so far we've had 2 stories that we were supposed to explain scientifically. One of which someone who, I don't know if we need to review the calls. We don't need to review the calls. We have other theists on the line. Actually, we have an agnostic on the line waiting to chat with us.
Agnostics are always interesting. Yeah,
absolutely. So we're going to bring in Bill. Welcome to Sunday After Dark. You are on with Paul and Austin. What can we chat with you about tonight?
Hi, Paul. Hi, Austin. How are you guys doing?
Great, now that you're here.
Yeah, it's good to hear. Yeah, so I don't have any anecdotal evidence, nor am I going to get into Marian apparitions, because at that point it's just anecdotal. But I do have a question for you. Is every Christian, or regardless of what faith, is every person in that line that believes in some sort of higher power, are they all mentally ill or deranged, or can there be some kind of nuance to it in your opinion?
Paul said very clearly earlier in the show that that is not the position.
The pervasiveness of mental illness amongst the religious is identical to the pervasiveness of mental illness among the non-religious population. It is not a factor.
Okay, I was just wondering, because your earlier comments with the first guest insinuated something along the lines that you're dealing with people.
I'm sorry if I was unclear, because I am.
Paul was incredibly clear. I will say, as a matter of clarification, that I did say that if we're listening to a person relaying religious experiences and making diagnoses about them in the chat, going, this guy's clearly mentally ill, stop talking to him, I'm saying, he's just talking about having a religious experience where he saw an angel or something. And I'm talking about our chat here, the armchair diagnosis that this is the result of a TBI, a traumatic brain injury, we can't confirm or deny that. Like, we are not in a position to make that diagnosis. And also, like, that's not what our show is about. Our show isn't about talking to people and determining what mental illnesses we think they have or don't have, and then hanging up on them based on our armchair diagnosis. All
right. Yeah. So what do you want to talk with us about, Bill?
Okay. No, I was just making sure there wasn't an equivocation between believing in a higher power and mental illness before I started.
No, sorry if that ever came across.
Oh, no, you're good. It doesn't offend me. I just wanted to see where we stand on basis. So, I haven't been to any kind of religious institution in 15 to 20 years at this point. I more focus on reading things like Calvin, Aquinas, focusing on different liturgies from different aspects of different churches. So you can even find the apocryphal texts such as the Book of Enoch and the Gospel of Judas if you're looking for something a bit more different. But even then, there's not really any proof in that. And
I agree. I've read them.
My thing is, my thing is the existence of the universe in terms of probability of a Big Bang. It's like taking a million different car parts and jamming them all together at light speed and expecting to get a Honda Civic, and instead of a ball of misaligned and mangled parts.
Just so we're clear, because it sounds like you and I would disagree strongly on the definition of the Big Bang. Can you tell me your understanding of what scientists posit as the Big Bang?
Yeah, it's the initial creation of energy that led to the spontaneous and overall continuous growth of the universe.
So that is not the definition that I nor any physicist that I'm aware of would accept. The Big Bang is the inflation of existing, is the rapid expansion of existing matter and energy, is really what the Big Bang is. The Big Bang doesn't attempt to explain the origin of matter or posit in any way that matter didn't predate it in whatever sense might make sense to say before the Big Bang, since we're not even sure if that's a coherent question. Are you okay with going with me on that, or do we need to hash that out?
No, I'll take you at your word for it.
Okay, so scientists, just to be clear, don't posit that matter came into existence at the time of the Big Bang.
Yeah, that's the important part of the distinction.
Yeah. Okay, so then you're talking now. You've entertained a question I've not really even heard, like Stephen Meyer talk about, which is like, what are the chances of the Big Bang happening? How did you decide that it was improbable that space-time and existing matter wouldn't expand? How did you determine that?
Because we have no determinate proof at the moment, and I've never seen anything posited besides of theory, and even certain scientists in the astrological field have found evidence that
Howard Stern's penis, Baba Booey, nigger.
That he waited so long for it.
He did.
That's crazy how much time I've never seen someone put in so much time. I like the commitment to. Wow, I'm genuinely like, I can't believe how much like the conversation was going in such a normal way.
Yeah, in a way that I might have. He's whatever. That's the trolls are getting
By the way, like when we talk about like how it's not our job on this show to diagnose callers and stuff like that, like when that stuff happens, that to me is like, again, not my job to diagnose anybody with anything, but I'm like, there is no one that I think is like more in dire need of some kind of intervention than people like that. Than people who are like, my life is going to be about finding live call-in shows and calling into like shout slurs into the phone and then hang up. Like that to me is like, there's something there. I don't know what the pathology is, but there's something going on where I'm like, you are in need of emergency intervention. Like that there is a level of antisocial detachment and dissociation that I think is very genuinely like disturbing and startling. Like I think it's way more disturbing than like just the average theist caller who wants to talk to us about like,
for sure,
hey, I saw Jesus in an alleyway while I was getting jumped, like I think it's way more disturbing the idea of like someone being alone in their room looking for live call-in shows so that they can shout on the phone, slur. I just am like, that to me is like, that person actually really, really scares me, and it makes me think like someone needs to do a wellness check. But again,
I think we've given them more time than they deserve as it is. So we will move on to Alexander, who says he's a theist. Alexander, welcome to Sunday After Dark with Austin and Paul. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
We're all right. What did you want to talk about tonight?
So basically, I had a question about a non-viable God. Basically, without assuming anything about God, if you knew the sole fact that God existed, would you be happy about that? Why or why not?
Depends on what kind of God we're talking about.
Did you say non-viable?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We don't know anything about this God. This God just came down and said, "Hey, I'm God." Would you be happy or not? Like, or do you need more information?
I would need more information.
Yeah,
okay. That's all I wanted to know.
Really?
What if the way to find more information about that was to understand how to have good faith and use faith the right way?
What is faith the right way?
So there's a good and bad for everything, right?
No, but okay.
Would you?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. There's not like a good way to, like,
is there
sexually assault a child.
Morally speaking, as humans, is there a good and bad use for everything?
No.
What's the good cancer? That. Tell me about the good cancer.
Well, it could possibly be mutated to do something positive, but I mean, I don't want to go.
Is there a good way to abuse your spouse?
I want to say there's a good way. There might be a good reason.
Wow. Whoa. You are from Alabama. My God.
So,
I'm being punished for being honest. Before we derail too far, that's not.
No.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah. So, Alexander, we are not going to agree even probably on the definition of good and bad.
Well, I didn't say I go around beating my spouse, but for you to link the two, I think that's kind of dishonest.
No, but you posited that there is a good, and you didn't tell us what good means, and a bad version of everything. And you wanted us to blanket go along with that.
But so you notice how I said, would you say that there's a good and bad to everything, and you guys first thought of bad things instead of first thinking about good things? Do you notice how you guys do that a lot?
Do you notice that I don't even agree on the definition of good and bad?
You guys talk negatively a lot on this show.
If you phoned in...
That was really the point I was trying to make. And the fact that if God were to come out and just say, "Hey, I'm God,"
about the bad ice cream. Like what?
Why should we be happy about that? Why does it make sense?
Why would you not be happy that you were created? What kind of selfish ass shit is that?
Because I don't know who the fucking guy is. If a magic guy comes down...
He just told you he was God and he created you. You should be grateful for that shit.
Alex, that doesn't mean that he's automatically good. So let's say, okay, so... Yeah, or telling the truth. But let's say...
I'm sorry, are you God or is the God?
Alex,
do you make the rules or does the person who creates the rules make the rules?
Alex, I don't know who the fuck this is. If someone just shows up and says, "I'm your dad,"
I'm sorry you
Austin,
have such a lack of imagination that you can't imagine a God coming to you without knowing anything else. And just
everyone who comes to your door saying,
Alex, that was your scenario. You said God comes down. You don't know anything about him. He says, "I'm God. Are you happy or not?" You said it. We can rewind the tape.
I didn't say
you said it. Right, you're saying, and now you're saying it's my lack of imagination that I don't know enough about this scenario. You said in your scenario, I don't know anything about him.
So are you claiming that my scenario contains a lack of imagination?
Yes, Alex.
I can hit you with some big ass Skyrim lore right now. If you want to go that far.
Alex, if a random man shows up at my door, knocks on the door, and says, "I'm your dad," I actually am your biological dad, and I don't know anything about him. Your question is, am I happy or not? My answer is, I need more information.
Yeah, I'm going to need some more information on that.
Right. Yeah. I'm not.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
That's,
so,
yeah.
Okay. Put it. All right. Tell me a scenario. Let's be fair. Tell me a scenario in which, is there any scenario in which a God presenting himself wouldn't lead you to think that it was an alien or something else? I know a couple of people on the show said that, yeah, if this happened, I would believe it was God. Are there any of those that you guys would, or... Hello?
So not an alien is a high bar, of course, because of the Arthur C. Clarke rule, any sufficiently advanced technology. So it would need to be something that technology couldn't even conceivably solve. And I'm not sure what that would look like, but I'm not that skeptical. I think there's lots of things that if an alien came down claiming they're a deity and they're sufficiently advanced, I would be entertaining the notion. So I'm not immediately just
fair enough.
Yeah, because I think it'd be a little bit. I think Alexander, someone who didn't at least question such a
questioning is fine. I was just kind of speaking from the heart, kind of like, would you just be happy the fact that this happened? I'm sure a lot of people would, because it'd be amazing. But I feel like some people kind of don't want there to be God.
Your point was that we're like really miserable people who are really negative, and we just are always negative.
No, not actually, because I used to be an atheist, and I wasn't like that at all. But it's kind of sad that you jumped to that conclusion because you're negative.
Alex, you said it. You said, you guys are so negative. You talk about a lot of negative stuff on this show. And then,
I didn't say overall you're negative people, though.
Yeah, you did. And then I said, so your point was...
you guys are really negative. I didn't say overall you guys are just generally negative. I didn't make that statement.
Right. Then when we pointed out how dumb your scenario was, you went, well, I wasn't talking about like logical. I'm talking about more just like, in the heart, like a spiritual side. Like, wouldn't you be happy if God was here? And our answer to you is, I have to know more about what's going on before I can determine whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. And you're like, isn't it just a good thing? And the answer is no. It's not just automatically a good thing.
Okay, that's fine. I got my answers.
So, Alexander,
I don't need the good cop, bad cop stuff.
All right. Let me answer a more specific question I think you'd have liked to have asked, and that is, would I be happy if I found out that Bible God existed? I think Austin and I would give very different answers here. I would be excited about that if I found out that the Bible God.
Yes, because I could ask him to reconcile what's going on in the Bible and like, what's up with this?
I'd be fucking terrified to find out Bible God is real. I'd be terrified.
Because I would be able to reconcile a lot of relationships that I lost.
You don't do anything wrong. What's there to be terrified of? But
according to the Bible God, every single person's done something wrong.
Yeah, what I'm terrified of is the fact that God has a long list of weird things that God considers to be wrong, and the punishments for those things are fucking insane. That's what I'm terrified of.
And according to Matthew, that a lot of people who think that they're saved, they're going to find out on Judgment Day that they're not. So I
personally don't know how to reconcile what God's eternal law is versus what cultural rulings are. I don't really know how to separate those in the Bible.
These are all scary things.
I feel like the shellfish stuff is just cultural. You know what I'm saying? Like
punishment.
I feel like there are some things.
Punishment's pretty bad.
I feel like the Bible doesn't tell you what you want to know, but it tells you what you need to know, how to treat people, stuff like that.
So if the Christian God is real and I end up on Judgment Day, can I just say to God, well, Alexander called my show and told me that all I needed to do is be nice to people. And so whatever punishment you've got, I was nice to people.
You have to have faith and believe that he died for your sins. That's what they said. That's what the Bible says. So that's what I believe.
Okay. So, and what happens to me if I don't? What happens to Austin and I if we don't end up having that faith?
There's no specific word hell in there, and I don't really know what happened. I know that if you choose not to have a relationship with God, I don't know if you have to make that decision before you die or if you can make that decision right then and there as you're confronted with God. I don't know how that works. I'm just saying, like,
have you chosen not to have a relationship with Superman?
You can't really choose belief, so you believe it.
Boom! There it is.
Oh,
there it is.
Yeah, so I didn't call in to convince you guys at all, but I mean, I was just here to have a talk. So I don't know.
Yeah, you can't choose what you believe and what you don't believe. I agree with you, Alex, 100%.
You can't.
So if you're not trying to convince us,
so you know,
if you're not trying to, this is so all the whatever hell is for things we didn't choose. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you believe? If you don't want to convince us, so what is the main reason that you think that this is true?
After I prayed I made a prayer to God. I was an atheist. I made a prayer to God saying, and I deeply meant it, God, if you are real, please just show me some sort of evidence. I'm begging you. I really, truly want to believe in you. That's all I want to do. I was an atheist, and I did not believe in him at all, but I earnestly still wanted to seek out God. And so he started showing me just these weird symbolism, all the symbolism in life that I've just been missing, these conversations that I've been paying more attention and actually understanding what people are saying, all this stuff.
So the evidence was symbolism
my life
and insight?
Just got better. And that's enough evidence for me. That's what you asked, and that's what I just gave you.
Yeah, that's fair. So I just want to be clear to enumerate them. Symbolism, conversations made more sense, and you were happier.
I can't like fully explain everything, and I can't explain the all I felt and I'm not good at articulating my words that well, so I'm not going to be able to you're not going to be able to emotionally feel, and you're not going to be able to see this and then see that right after that and then link it to a conversation you had later. You're not going to be able to do any of that because those are personal experiences. You cannot prove that stuff.
So that prayer you described,
that stuff
I did
comes
that
when you have faith.
Okay, but I had faith. So we're on the opposite ends of this, right? I was a Christian for decades.
I don't want to, so I'm not.
And when
Alex, Paul is being very respectful and trying to have a conversation with you. Let him talk.
When I prayed that prayer the last time, I was crying my eyes out, desperate, on the floor, begging God to do for me what he did for you. Why do you suppose that he chose you and not me?
Because even when I kept having doubts, I still returned to faith. You didn't.
So, but
Booyah,
no, that
right
can't
there.
be correct.
There's
that can't
answer.
be correct because no, you can't be correct
really?
about that because I still believed when I prayed. No. But when I prayed that
he knew
prayer,
you weren't going to always have it.
So because
he didn't show you anything.
He didn't show me
anything. He
only
shows those who he knows are going to be loyal to him.
Alex, are you aware that being a believer who's experiencing doubts is not the same thing as being an atheist?
Is that what you're claiming I went through? Because
that's what you're saying.
That's what I'm claiming I went through.
But that's what you're saying.
I went through.
But also, you're saying, Alex, that when you experience doubts, you kept coming back to faith. It just doesn't sound to me like you ever actually were an atheist. It sounds like you were a believer who was experiencing doubt.
After I started seeking God and I started to believe, I started having doubts again and started to return back to my atheism. But I kept going back to faith, and eventually I started seeing symbolism is what I was trying to explain.
Okay. But the difference between you and Paul is Paul wasn't willing to go back to his faith when he experienced doubts because his prayers weren't being answered the ways yours were.
And I'm not trying to speak against anybody. Everybody goes through different things. I'm not trying to say, "Oh, I'm so much better because I was an atheist and I feel still like I was a badass as an atheist." I mean,
right on. Do you know what a no? Right on. Do you know what a no true Scotsman fallacy is?
I've heard of it, but I don't remember.
It's just basically when, like, you say people who are in such and such group behave this way, and then when someone gives you an example of, hey, I was in that group and I behaved that exact same way, and I got a different result, you go, well, that's because you didn't do it right. You didn't do it right. So Paul's saying, I did the exact same thing as you. And you're saying, well, you did it wrong, though. But you did. I know you weren't trying to. You weren't trying to commit a logical fallacy. You just did, though. You just went, oh, well, if you got different results, that means you didn't do it right. It's a no true Scotsman fallacy. It's also like special pleading. It's like, it only works when you do it the way that I did it.
Well, I'm not saying specifically the way that I did it, but I just feel like he gave up. That's what I was trying to say.
You don't know that.
Well, I said I feel like he gave up. I didn't say I know he gave up.
So, but you also said that belief isn't a choice, right?
Correct.
So how is giving up relevant to whether or not whether I intellectually assent to the existence of a God?
I'll put it this way. You, even though you do or don't believe, if you're an honest, open-minded person, you're going to naturally shift from side to side because you're trying to seek the truth. That's just natural.
And
I lost my train of thought. I apologize.
That's all right.
I'm just being honest.
Okay. Well, Alexander, did we answer your question?
Sure there was more to say to that. But,
there would have to be.
Yeah. Oh well. Well, I had a good talk with you guys though.
All right,
okay,
man.
Alexander. Have a good night and keep being skeptical. Or start being skeptical.
Start being skeptical. We've got time left on the show if you want to call in. If you've got any theists who are listening, who disagree with us and who feel like we're not getting what Alexander was laying down, call in. We also, on the last show, we could do this again because we got time. We read super chats. So we could do that.
Oh, I don't know how that works in our current system.
It's over here in the funding queue.
Oh, okay.
Over there on the right chat, and you toggle down up there at the top where.
Yeah, and then can we literally throw those on the screen?
So if I go like this, watch, if I start with the first one, boop, like that, we can read these. So
I don't see it. Is it?
You're not seeing it so far. So on the screen on staff QN align, you know that.
Yeah.
On the far right, there's two different chats. So there's the one on the far right, and
I know you, but you put one up on the screen. I see that.
You see that. So what you need to do is up at the top of that little tab, there's a little drop down menu in the top right, and you should be able to select funding queue, and you can see the whole list of.
I'm just saying it's not on the screen. That's all I was saying. Are you seeing it?
No, it doesn't come up on the screen. We just read it.
That's all I was asking.
Yeah, sorry.
No, sorry.
We'll switch off here for a bit, but also lines are still open if anybody wants to call in. If anybody wants to call in and get one more call in before the end of the show, the lines are still open. Misha said, Austin, who has a Rolodex anymore? My God. Gonna call it an Unk stash now. That's fair. I usually say Rolodex, and when I say it, I mean it in my mind. Like in my mind, I flip through examples of things. So I go through my mind Rolodex. I don't own a Rolodex, but I get how that was an outdated, reference. So then if you want to read,
that's not dissimilar to at the front when you had a banana and I, accused it of being a phone.
Right.
No modern phone looks like a banana.
No modern
anymore.
phone looks like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that also we're just old guys.
Mm-hmm.
Misha 76 sent another super chat. I got hit on the head once and saw birds flying in circles around my head. Must have been God.
I wonder if that's real.
God in bird form.
Do people actually experience that? Because I've definitely gotten the little twinklies. I'll sometimes have a headache or I get hit where you see like a flash of light. I've never seen actual like Tweety birds. Do people actually see Tweety birds?
Not that I'm aware of. It certainly hasn't for me. I feel like, again, this is not dissimilar to that caller who thought he saw Jesus. If it had gone even further, I was going to actually probe him on like what beliefs he had about Jesus before he got hit on the head. Because when people tend to have those visions, it tends to be compatible with or in line with, their current preconceived notions. Like he said that Jesus is wearing a sash. I'm like, oh yeah. I don't think, honestly, I don't think historical Jesus was wearing the sash that was in every Sunday's school painting in the 70s.
Right. It's so funny when people just
have it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. In the religion that I was raised in, there's this, I was raised Mormon. I talk about this a lot on the show, but there was this sort of folklore in the culture about these characters called the three Nephites. And they're these characters from the Book of Mormon that are said to be, they were like blessed with immortality. And there's all these little like folk tales in Mormon culture of people having encounters with the three Nephites, seeing them on their missions, and the three Nephites would show up and help them with something, or they were on their mission in like a tough neighborhood and they went to this house and like the guy who answered the door was really scary, but then the guys were gonna there was like some gang members that were gonna attack him, but then they backed up and they said, "How come you didn't attack us?" And they said, "Well, those three guys that were standing behind you scared us." And they go, "What three guys?" And it was the three Nephites. But like the way that the missionaries always described them as like very much like the art looks in the Book of Mormon, like the way that they're drawn, so just funny little viewings of these things. Misha sent another one and said, Robert's middle name is Harry Potter. People have been trying to kill him since he was a babby. Oh yeah, Robert. Remember how many people tried to kill Robert? That was crazy.
Yeah, it's really tough to understand why someone who's been. Yeah, anyway, well, I won't get into it.
we got two stories, but he said like 15 times.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, crazy.
Glam Pixie says God couldn't be arsed to end slavery or genocides, but he saved Robert personally. Yeah. Multiple times, because Robert apparently got in a lot of trouble.
Yep.
Yeah. That's why God probably, if Robert had been more responsible in his choices, probably God would have had time to not have genocides.
Yep. Yeah, Misha again says, jokes aside, Robert, please go to therapy to deal with your trauma and paranoia, bud. This is not good for you. Yeah, that's when we got into that part of the show when it was like, uh-oh, is Robert okay? And who knows? The guy seems like he's been through a lot,
Indeed.
But
Skeptics and Scoundrels wrote us, Paul, when it's a story about a doctor, it's antidotal, not anecdotal. Duh. I should have been able to figure that out. That's right. It's so if anytime a doctor tells you a medical story from 100 years ago, it's true because he's a doctor, or she. They have she doctors. They didn't have she doctors back then, but now they do.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking at the chats here from Lux. It's like, okay, well. But yeah, the phone lines are still open, you guys. Still got calls. I mean, I don't know.
So along those lines, I recently did a video where I was doing a bit of a back and forth with an apologist, and they literally opened their video against me to say, everyone with an open mind believes what I'm going to tell you about the Gospels. And then I did a response, and then they were like, well, see, he doesn't have an open mind. I'm like, oh, prophecy fulfilled. Apparently, all it takes, anyone who has an open mind agrees with the thing.
Yeah.
And everyone who doesn't has a closed mind. So maybe, callers, let us know why do we have a closed mind on all these things?
It's like Alexander, like I really think that he thought he had a gotcha. Like I just don't think that he thought through like how to structure it, but he thought, I'm going to give them a scenario that everyone should agree is automatically good, and I'm going to prove that they're just sort of negative thinkers. And he was like, now if God came down and showed himself to you and said, I'm God, I created the universe, would you be happy about that? And when both of us were like, well, I'm going to need more information before I make a determination on whether or not that's a good thing, he was like, he didn't really know where to go. It was like, but he wanted to prove the theory that we're just negative, that we just think too negatively about things. But he forgot to establish that some sort of entity arriving on Earth and declaring itself the creator of the universe is automatically a good thing. Like we need to first establish that that is a good thing before we determine how we should respond emotionally to such an event. But it's like, well, I'm obviously going to need more information. If some like Marvel villain arrives on Earth and is like, I am the God of the universe, if Doctor Doom shows up and is like, I am God and I am here to rule over the universe, worship at my altar, I need to know more information about who this is. I can't just go like, oh good, oh goody, like that, and that. But it's just like you said, it's like only people with a closed mind will disagree with this. And I think Alex Calden was like, I'm going to prove that these guys are just negative by showing a scenario that no one could disagree is good. And it's like, well, think about it for 2 seconds, Alex. And then that kind of threw him off for the rest of the call. It was like, I guess I hadn't thought about like the different scenarios where that might not automatically be awesome.
Although the one good thing, I guess, if we could get over it, so we should all stand in line and punch that crater in the nose for all the things that they made the human body to be like not work right. I think we all deserve that being a punch for like, whatever, what we all have weird stuff that's not, that we wish was better. So does that, but then maybe it would be positive if such a being could then like give us a manual. It's like, oh, turns out, I designed you to that, when you eat carrots, but the weird stuff's gonna happen. Like they could maybe a instruction manual would be good, or some diagnostic tools. That's the only scenario where this is helpful.
I do often, I mean, like you get that question from Theus a lot where it's like, what are you going to say when you die and you have to account for your life? And I'm like, if I die and I am brought to some place where I'm allowed to have a conversation with either the creator of the universe or a direct representative of that person, like I already pretty much know what my script is, and my script is just going to be like, hey, I got to tell you honestly, I was doing the very best I could given the information I was given. Like whatever the goal is, if the goal is that I'm supposed to know that you are God and I'm supposed to worship at your altar, didn't do a good enough job making sure that like I had the adequate information to understand that, and also didn't do a good enough job to sell me on the idea that even if you were real, you were a God worth worshiping. Like it's just, there's a reason why 99.99999% of people aren't getting the message who are born, and it's because it's not clear. It's a mess down there. There's a reason why we are such a polytheistic society and have been forever, and why so many different people have so many different versions of what they think you are, and it's because there is no consensus down there about what all this is. So like whatever the rules were, I didn't fucking know, dude. I just woke up in a maze and I just tried to find my way through the maze, and I think it's pretty immoral of you to judge me for that. Like, you made it. It's all because of you. And I know that if the God we're talking about, if the Bible God were the person I was speaking to, he most likely wouldn't care about my protestations, and he would just, hand down his judgment and punishment regardless of what I say. But it's definitely like, I wouldn't back down. I wouldn't be like, oh, sorry, my bad, let me worship you, because I'm like, I don't want to spend eternity worshiping you in whatever place that is. That sounds like punishment too. I would just want to be like, I hope lots of people are telling you what I'm about to tell you, which is Bad job, dude. Bad job designing the universe. Bad job making sure we all understood what your expectations of us were. Bad job. You designed a bad test. You're a bad teacher. You did a bad job, like making sure I made it back to you. There is no one to blame but you. And I know that you're not going to accept that, but that's all right. Send me to hell with all the other people who refuse to praise you for doing such a bad job.
A criticism I get a lot is the theists will say, well, even if God showed up and started talking to you, you would wonder if you were having a hallucination. So you're a bad person. And I'm like, wait, if God showed up and started talking to you, you wouldn't at least consider, am I having a hallucination? Like, why am I the bad person here for entertaining that notion? Because I always, like you have a script for things. I do have kind of in my head, a scenario for if I feel like God appears to me to talk to me, because what I need this God to do is give me information that I definitely don't have, right? Because otherwise it could have just be, if it's information I have or could put together myself, then I can't be sure. So I want the God who appears before me to like give me the answer to an unsolved math problem.
Yeah.
Or, something like that I can immediately verify, but I know that I'm not capable of doing. And that seems reasonable to me. I don't know why that's unreasonable. No, I should just, if God appears before me or comes down from a spaceship, I'm just supposed to be excited and run with it. And I don't know.
What are you just like negative? You're such a negative person. Why wouldn't you be excited about, why wouldn't you automatically accept that it's automatically a good thing that you're being presented with this like really insane psychedelic experience? Yeah. It's so wild that it doesn't even enter the field of possibility that it's like, could this, this thing that I talked about earlier, the bicameral brain and the emergence of consciousness and like the studies of the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere of the brain and stuff. This really blew my mind. I was watching a video essay on the train last night, and it was all about how there are certain philosophers that believe that for the majority of human history, humans weren't operating in a altogether conscious way, that we weren't actually, we didn't develop the ability to have a sort of like dicameral experience with our neural function, that we were more or less. So basically it's like a good way to understand it is what they would do when they would sever the nerve connection between the two hemispheres of the brain to understand how the two hemispheres work is they would have people with their left hand, which is the side that's connected with the right hand, reach and touch items that that they couldn't see, but then they would show them a symbol or a word with their right, just to their right eye with their left eye covered. So they'd show them the word like ball, and they would grab the ball, and then they would ask them like, did you grab the ball because I showed you the word ball? And they'd say no. They go, I just like, that's just what I did. But they didn't, it was like not computing that the right side was getting the command, and it wasn't, the communication wasn't happening between the two halves. So they were experiencing it as though it was just like an impulse to grab the thing. They weren't taking in the language. And what a lot of these philosophers are hypothesizing is that ancient gods, the way that people describe them, they describe them very literally. Like they existed. People would bring them food, like they would like leave food at temples and be like, we have to feed the gods. And they wouldn't really think like, no one's eating the food. So like, but there was a time during the collapse of the Bronze Age where more and more and more people started writing that their gods were leaving. They would say like, and more people were describing this experience of, my gods have all left me. They're not answering me anymore. And what these people are hypothesizing is that without the communication between the two hemispheres, these people were just acting instinctually based on a relationship with the voice in their head. And they were just, it was a very natural, normal, like you and I are talking right now. They thought they had a literal relationship with gods. And so as they developed the ability to introspect and think about their own the concept of a mind, and they needed to understand other people, and the fact that those people had their own mind and their own thoughts, and the concept of thoughts arose, like the concept of like actually having words and voices and a conversation going on inside of like your neural meat. As that arose, people's gods started to go away because people started to not recognize the voice as a god anymore, and they started recognizing it as the voice of their own brain. And we are still living in the like echo of that recent development in human evolution, that like we no longer have a literal tangible relationship with our gods anymore, and it's become more metaphorical, and it's become more something that you don't see but you have to believe in, and you have to trust that it's there. But people used to, the way that they would talk about them was like, no, they're here. Like they are, we see them every day, and we talk to them every day. And it's just a really interesting thing to think like that when people are having these experiences. I saw Jesus. It's not to say that Robert didn't see something,
right? Yeah.
It's just to say like there just might be more to consciousness and the way the brain works than Robert or you and I understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We do have a theist on the line who I believe wants to talk about some stuff that excites me greatly. So let's bring on Dylan. Welcome to Sunday After Dark with Austin and Paul. Welcome here.
How's it going?
Great. How are you?
All right.
Chilling. If Jesus didn't come on Earth, the devil would have taken over, full control.
Okay. Why would God let that happen?
Well, do you believe Jesus is God?
No.
No.
We're atheists.
Oh, I'm a theist.
Cool. Yeah, we don't believe Jesus is God.
So, but obviously you're a Christian of some variety, right? If you think that Jesus is God.
Why can't God have come in the flesh like Jesus?
I don't know.
Well, I don't think either of us would say that. I don't think either of us would say that God couldn't do X or couldn't do Y. What we are saying is we see no reason to believe that there is a God. And so we would need to start there. Like we could argue about what Superman can do or what Hulk can do or what God can do. Sure, but we're just not convinced that that's a real entity.
Christ died on the cross for my sins. I know God is real.
Okay. How are you going to convince us of that, or
why should we believe that?
Like, why should we care what Jesus says?
No, why should we believe that Christ died on a cross for your sins?
Christ died on the cross for my sins. I was going to go to the Bible, but like with truth, like with actual truth. Is that what you're asking for?
I just keep getting the feeling that this isn't a real call, but I
feel the same way.
Yeah.
But Dylan, do you believe?
I was going to go to the Bible, but like
I
was going to go to the Bible, but then like the Bible.
Are you about to say a bunch of slurs, Dylan?
Of course not.
Okay, we lost you. If you said something there, your mic cut out because we missed about the last 30 seconds of anything you may have said. So repeat. No problems. Just if you can say it again.
There's heaven and there's angels.
Okay.
You keep saying, you keep just asserting.
Why is there a devil? You said if Jesus didn't come down, the devil would take over the world. Why is there a devil? And why is the devil so powerful? Like why It's just so weird. Like, why, if God designed everything, why did he design a universe with this other like evil inverse wizard that like rules the evil part of space magic? It's so weird. Why does the devil exist?
If I were the devil, would you have faith in me?
What?
Do you understand how that's not an answer to the question?
Like, if I were the devil, then wouldn't you want to have faith in me?
What? That's not an answer to the question, Dylan. I'm asking you, have you ever thought why a devil exists at all? Why would God create the universe and then allow a fallen angel to become a like nefarious force to tempt people into sin, which we're all born into anyway, to try to get us to go away from the like why is God allowing Satan to have such strong dominion over people? What, like, I just don't understand why. Like, why is that part of it?
Well, if I was Satan, I would ask for you to sell your souls to me.
You're not answering the question.
No, but Satan doesn't need. Theoretically, Austin and I are both going to hell as it is. Satan doesn't need anything from us. Satan doesn't need our souls. He doesn't. We're already his in your theology.
If I were Satan, I would ask for your souls, but you won't sell your souls, which actually demonstrates that you do believe in God.
I would sell my soul. If you send me the funds in a foreseeable, I will sell you my soul.
Oh, I will too.
Or let's say $50.
Yeah, me too. If you'll Venmo me $50, I'll send you my soul.
$50.
I'll sell it to you right now. $50. $50.
If Satan promised you that for your souls, that if Satan promised you for your souls $50, not even for $100, you would?
I'd sell it to you for a candy bar.
But this is because Dylan, neither Austin nor I believe we have a soul.
Yeah, we don't think souls are real, Dylan.
So we would think we would be scamming you out of $50.
Yeah, we don't think that souls are real, and we don't think that the devil is real.
So what's better?
So it's like me. It's like me asking you, like, would you sell your, like your magic harp to He-Man?
So for the devil,
you were attempting to. You would. Go ahead.
For the devil, you would literally sell your souls.
Yeah, dude. I don't believe in the devil.
To you, we would sell. You were trying to tell us that we believe in souls because we wouldn't sell them. We assured you that we would sell them. And now that leaves your argument nowhere. And so it seems like you're shifting now.
Would you even put that in writing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll write it right now.
Yeah.
Soul.
So like
$50. Now someone has to actually, the funds have to go into my account. I'll put Paul's soul. $50. I don't know if you probably can't read it. It's in writing though, and this is a verbal contract. Verbal contracts, as you know, are just as binding in court as a written contract.
You can't really read that either, but I wrote it in pencil. It says Austin's soul $50. It's on a box.
Yeah.
I'll send you the box in the mail. You send me $50, I'll send you my soul. Do you know why we're doing that, Dylan? Does it make sense to you, like what we're saying?
Before heaven, you literally would. Before heaven.
Dylan, we don't believe
we don't believe
souls,
in heaven.
We don't believe in heaven. We don't believe in souls. We don't believe in the devil. If you want to pay us $50 for our souls that don't exist, we will sell them to you.
Even if I were the devil.
Yeah, because the devil's not real.
So, Dylan, the story would change if you convince us that heaven or the devil was real. Obviously, if you were able to convince us, as opposed to making weird threats, then probably we would be less willing to sell these souls. So can you, rather than going down whatever road you were going, can you maybe give us reasons why we should think that souls and devils and heaven are real? Even if it's the Bible, tell us why you think we should believe those things.
How willing are you to sell your soul? Like, even if I were the devil, like, because the devil, he grew up in heaven, like, he knows how the world works. So even if I were the devil, how willing would you be?
Well, I don't understand why this selling the soul is the weird brave thing for you. Like, yes, we're telling you, we are willing to. The first people that get $50, the first demonic force to get $50 in my account gets my soul.
So the devil, he grew up in heaven, so he knows how the world works. So if I were the devil, you literally, like, not even for like a house, not even for anything else, you would literally sell your soul for the like Dylan, if I were the devil, you would literally.
Dylan, do you believe that the devil exists? Dylan, do you believe that the devil exists?
He grew up in heaven.
Dylan,
but did he exist?
I'm starting to believe that you're a troll with the way that you're answering questions.
No. Here, he grew up in heaven, and heaven exists. I believe heaven exists, and he grew up in heaven. The devil grew up in heaven.
So the devil.
And heaven exists.
So your answer is yes. You believe the devil exists.
Yes.
Okay. So, do you believe that the devil has the power to tempt human souls away from the kingdom of God? That the devil can, like, trick us into doing things that we wouldn't otherwise do? He can tempt us into committing sins? Dylan?
Absolutely.
Dylan, we lost. Okay. Dylan,
Absolutely.
Do you believe... Okay, great. Dylan, do you believe that the devil has the ability to possess people and to go inside their bodies or put demons inside of their bodies? Do you believe that the devil has an army of demons? That's maybe a good question.
My answer is yes.
Okay, great. Dylan, it sounds like we're describing like a dark wizard like Voldemort, who's got like a team of other dark wizards like Death Eaters that go around and they have the ability to sort of magically disrupt the order of God. My question to you is, why is that a part of all of this? Why is this angel that grew up in heaven, as you say, who then left heaven and became this fallen angel, who has his own little army of demons who can possess people and make people do things that they don't want to do? Why is that part of it? Why is that part of God's design? It's just such a weird aspect of the lore. Why is that part of it?
For if I were the devil, you have enough faith in me to, like, how willing were you to sell your souls? Like, not even for a house.
Dylan,
do you have this scripted on a piece of paper, Dylan?
Yeah.
You don't seem to say that again.
You don't seem
Dylan,
to... let's stick with it. No, let's stick with this, Dylan. Let's stick with this soul thing. Austin and I do not profess that Jesus is Lord because we've hardened our hearts or something, whatever. Are we going to get into heaven?
No.
So where will we go instead?
It's either heaven or hell, but
okay. So we won't get into heaven. So that means that we. No, but hold on. So just to be clear, so we're Austin and I, as it sits right now, if we don't change our lives, we're both going to hell, right?
Is there any deity that could, like, with the spirit, save you from hell?
Yeah, but Austin and I said, screw it. We don't even want to be saved. We're hardening our hearts. We just want to sin. So we're just unwilling, and so in that scenario, we're just going to hell, right?
You don't want to be saved even by the Lord Jesus?
No, this is hypothetical. Oh. This is just hypothetically. I'm trying to give you if we don't change our lives, regardless of what we want, we're going to go to hell, right? If this is the warning you want to be giving us, right? But you want to be warning us. If Austin and Paul don't change their lives, they're going to hell. Is that a correct statement?
If the devil possessed your souls, then like
Dylan,
how would the Lord
Jesus dirty motherfucker. You are just you trolling ass motherfucker. I've been on this stream for 5.5 hours, dude, and I am too fucking tired for this shit.
No,
how dare you? We're trying to have a real conversation here with the theist, Dylan.
I'm not a soul.
We're trying to get our souls saved, and you're wasting our time. You're worse than the devil, Dylan. You're worse than Satan. At least Satan's about that business. He's trying to get that paper up so that he can buy this soul. You're just trying to waste time. At least we're trying to do something with our consciousness and not just waste our fucking lives. Go get a fucking life, Dylan. Go find out something to be about. Go find a purpose. What? God damn it, dude. I do not have time in my life. No, you are incapable of answering anyone's question. I've asked you several direct questions, and you keep going back to this weird script. I'm not sure that I'm not talking to an LLM right now, dude.
Satan wanted to be like God. That's why he was cast out of heaven into like
Satan
God
already
real,
has.
But the devil
My point was that Satan already has my soul. Right? Satan already has my soul.
If I were
Satan has my soul. What? Satan has my soul, yes or no?
If I were Satan, like
Satan has my soul, yes or no?
Does your body belong to the Lord Jesus or to Satan?
My butthole belongs to the Lord Jesus, but my body belongs to Satan.
How come you're willing to say my body belongs to Satan, but you aren't willing to say that my soul belongs to Satan? This is so weird.
My body, I can't help it. My body does belong to Satan. My body longs for his warm embrace, but my butthole is reserved for the Lord Jesus. Only the Lord Jesus gets that. Does that get me into heaven?
If you answer yes or no, then we'll continue the conversation. If you answer with something other than yes or no, we're going to hang up. Does Satan? I do not profess Jesus. Does Satan own my soul?
I need to digest the question.
Okay,
hey, Dylan,
well,
how many R's are in the word strawberry?
Oh, well, no, I did that because
it
was like if you answer something other, he needs to take a while to digest. I've literally said, I renounce your savior.
It's so weird. It's like, like all the like possession movies, like movies about people getting possessed by the devil and stories about possession. It always happens to believers. And I'm just like, I'm sitting here as an atheist. I have no problem being like, come on in. If there are dark demonic forces and if Satan wants to possess my body, to use me as a vessel to inflict, come on in, have at it, take it. And it's like the only way this happens, the only way these sort of manic episodes of religious psychosis occur is if you already are buying in to the premise that this is a thing that can happen. And I don't know, it's a very,
the point about the redundancy it was amazing. The redundancy of Satan, he doesn't have a place to fit in because as you said, we are fallen creatures, so we can sin on our own. We don't need Satan to sin, right? We can just all sin on our own accord, as you said. So what role does he have? He's not needed.
That's what I'm saying.
He's running around.
I find his role in the plan to be really weird because it also seems to be, that's why I try to get people, it's like, it seems to be an essential aspect of what their gods plan is. Like, their God seems to like the whole idea of, he started off by saying Jesus had to come to earth in flesh so that Satan wouldn't have dominion over the earth. But it's also like, that's not really, like, the Bible literally says, like, we are all born into sin, and Christ's atonement is there,
right,
to provide a way out of it. So it's like, we're already dominated by whatever, this concept of sin. But it's like, the plan seems to necessitate the fallen angels and the demons, so that there is this sort of a tug of war, and this yin and yang, and this sort of like grand cosmic battle that's happening over our souls. And to me, it's like, all Satan needs to do in order to fuck up the plan is just say no thanks. Is just say, I refuse to participate. Just I don't want to play a part in your thing. And as long as Satan's playing a part, he's participating. He's voluntarily participating in the design. And to me, it's like a cosmic entity that that kind of lives outside of space and time, that seems to be eternal, that's always been here, is ageless, doesn't die, can enter bodies with demons, has some kind of cosmic power. That entity would have the awareness to realize, oh, I'm playing an essential role in the design of this creator. And if I really am the enemy of this creator, all I need to do to mess up the design is refuse to participate. At that point, God's got two options. He either forces Satan to participate, in which case Satan is not participating of his own free will, or God plays the role himself. Either way, in either scenario where Satan's a voluntary participant, Satan is being forced to participate, or Satan is not participating and God's doing it, either way, they're in cahoots. Like the only way the plan can unfold is according to God's design. And in any scenario, they're in cahoots. They're working together. It's just a very weird part of the lore. You know what I mean?
I think you might be too young for this reference, but it seems like maybe Satan is the great gazoo of Christian lore.
I don't know that reference. No.
So when the Flintstones started getting deep into, there was too many seasons, they didn't have stories anymore. In like season 7 or 8 or whatever, they introduced an alien called the Great Gazoo. It was a green alien that floated around.
Yeah.
And that was literally just because they didn't have enough story beats. So, or like in the 80s and 90s, they would add like the family would have a baby in season 4 or 5, because like in Family Ties. So suddenly we got a new kid now. They're always injecting new characters into the stories, essentially, to try to juice it up. Satan is unneeded, as you said, in the Christian lore. There need not be him. He seems like a character added later to juice interest, and maybe give him an end boss in Revelation. But anyway,
I do know who Gazoo is now that you say it. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. And I never thought of it as weird as a kid. And I think back, and now I'm like, yeah, how weird that show about this prehistoric family. It was just like,
they literally just were out of story ideas. So they're like, well, we got to introduce something.
TV used to be weirder. I'll tell you what. Sitcoms, Mork and Mindy, Alf, the robot daughter.
But think about it. Back then, they did 24 episodes a season. Now then they reduced it to 22. Like shows now, we did 6 episodes of Game of Thrones every 5 years.
Right.
No, they had
the whole season cost $300 million.
The new Golden Girls wasn't ready next Thursday. People were so you like every week we got the show. Do you not have ideas in the writer room? Doesn't matter. We're filming.
Yeah, so, 6 seasons of 25 episodes a season. Man.
Yeah, that's how it used to be. So anyway, so hold on. What we haven't done was the schedule, because I think that Jimmy may have jimmied up the schedule, as it were, on the main place. I don't so see it, but now I see it. Our producer Lux has given us a thing. So what we've got tonight, we are wrapping up now. We have Sunday After Dark. So tomorrow, tune into Skeptalk with Forrest Valkai and an unknown host. Also, on Tuesday, Chewed Gum with Alyssa and Taylor. Pardon me. This is way too small for my eyes. Well, on Wednesday, we have the Hang Up with Matt Dillahunty. Thursday, we have TACIS with Luxander and Josie. And on Saturday, another episode of the Devangelicals. So tune in for all of those shows on the line, because we have clips, we have live shows every single day. Sunday is a big day. We got a lot of stuff going on. We thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you to our screeners. Thank you to everyone in the chat. And thank you to our producer. And we will talk to you next time.
Don't forget about patreon.com/calltheline. Everybody support the line.
Patreon! Join the Patreon for the line.
And better glasses for Paul for tiny schedules.